Hey everyone, welcome back to the Shelter Project. When temperatures hit minus 15 degrees Fahrenheit, your fingers can develop frostbite in less than 10 minutes. Yet every winter, tens of thousands of homeless Americans ride out deadly blizzards in nothing but nylon tents. And here's what gets me. What these street veterans know about extreme cold survival would make most outdoor enthusiasts look like complete amateurs. I spent the last 3 months talking to people who've survived winters most of us can't even imagine. And some of their tactics? They completely violate everything REI or any outdoor store ever taught you. This isn't theory. This is life and death knowledge, tested night after night. What you're about to learn might just save a life someday. Maybe even your own. The layering paradox. Here's something that completely blew my mind. Wearing too many layers can actually kill you faster than wearing too few. Sounds absolutely insane, right? But experienced tent dwellers have learned what mountaineers figured out through hard, sometimes fatal, experience. Overheating isn't just uncomfortable. It's delayed freezing in disguise. You bundle up in 6 layers because it's minus 20 degrees outside. You walk 3 blocks to your camp spot. That's all it takes. Your body starts pumping out sweat. Those 6 layers trap that moisture right against your skin. Then you stop moving. Suddenly, you're wearing a wetsuit in the Arctic. I met a guy named Marcus outside Detroit during the polar vortex of 2019. He looked prepared. Good coat, multiple hoodies, the works. But by 2 a.m., hypothermia had him so confused, he started undressing in the middle of the blizzard. It's called paradoxical undressing. They found him the next morning, barely alive, half naked, in a snowbank. He lost 3 toes and part of his left ear. Smart survivors dress in exactly 3 layers. Not 2, not 5. 3. Base layer that wicks moisture. Middle layer that insulates, outer layer that blocks wind. Each layer has one job. And here's the genius trick. They keep a complete dry set sealed in plastic bags inside their sleeping area. Because when your primary clothes get damp, and they will, having backups means the difference between waking up and not waking up at all. Wool retains 80% of its insulation even when soaked. Cotton, when wet, you might as well wrap yourself in ice cubes. Cotton kills. So here's what this teaches us. More isn't always better. Strategy beats quantity every single time. The condensation crisis. Most people think the danger is outside the tent. Wrong. Your deadliest enemy is inside, sleeping right next to you. It's you. Every breath you exhale contains moisture. In a sealed tent during sub-zero temperatures, that moisture condenses on the coldest surface, usually your tent walls. By morning, your shelter looks like the inside of a frozen water bottle. But here's the killer. That ice starts melting when the sun comes up. Now everything you need to stay warm is getting soaked from the inside out. I watched a guy named Tommy in Minneapolis deal with this in real time. His tent walls were literally dripping. He spent the first hour of daylight trying to dry everything before the next night. He looked at me and said, "This is the part that kills people. Not the cold, the wet." Veterans solve this with vapor barriers, a plastic sheet hung loosely inside the tent, about 4 inches from the walls. Condensation forms on the plastic instead of the tent fabric. In the morning, shake off the ice crystals and start fresh. A $3 sheet of plastic, preventing what kills people who don't know the trick. Some use trash bags around their sleeping bags. A 50-cent trash bag doing the job of a $300 waterproof stuff sack. The other counterintuitive trick? Ventilation. Even in minus 30 degrees weather, you need airflow. Yes, cold air comes in, but moisture goes out. And never cook inside a sealed tent. The steam is basically humidity warfare against yourself. What I learned from this? Your biggest threats often come from where you least expect them. Stay vigilant about the invisible dangers. The calorie calculation. Your body is a furnace. At freezing temperatures, it burns through 5,000 to 7,000 calories per day just maintaining core temperature. That's 3 times normal intake. Most homeless people don't have that, so their bodies start burning muscle tissue. I met a guy in Minneapolis called JD who'd survived 4 winters on the streets. He showed me old photos. He was 180 pounds before homelessness. When I met him, maybe 120 pounds. His body had literally consumed itself to stay warm. But he was alive. I'm still here, man. That's what matters. Smart survivors understand the hierarchy of fuel. Fats burn slowest and produce the most heat. That jar of peanut butter? It's biochemically optimal for cold weather survival. Each tablespoon is a time-release heat packet. But here's what messed with my head. Your appetite completely disappears in extreme cold. Your body's so focused on staying warm that hunger signals get suppressed. You're not hungry at all. Meanwhile, your core temperature is dropping because you haven't eaten in 18 hours. Experienced tent dwellers use timers. JD showed me his phone alarms every 3 hours from 6 a.m. to midnight. When that alarm goes off, you eat. Doesn't matter if you're hungry. Mechanical precision keeping him alive. Then there's water. You can't just eat snow. Your body burns 150 calories warming 1 liter of ice to body temperature. The solution? Bottle inside your sleeping bag against your chest. Body heat keeps it liquid. No calorie penalty. Liquid meal replacement drinks are hoarded like gold. 350 calories in 11 ounces. No preparation needed. Just pour warmth directly into your system. And this is crucial. Your body lies to you in extreme conditions. You can't trust what you feel. Trust systems and routines instead. The sleep strategy. You sleep more to survive, not because you're lazy. During extreme cold, conscious movement burns calories you can't afford to lose. 20-hour sleep cycles aren't uncommon during peak blizzard conditions. This is calculated energy conservation, not surrender. But falling asleep when it's minus 25 degrees outside isn't easy. Your body temperature naturally drops during sleep. In a tent during a blizzard, that natural drop can push you into hypothermia territory. The trick is going to bed warm. A guy named Ramon in Denver does jumping jacks inside his tent for exactly 2 minutes before climbing into his sleeping bag. Gets the blood flowing, raises core temperature, gives me a buffer against the overnight drop. Others use hot rocks wrapped in cloth at their feet. Your feet warm up first. When your extremities are warm, your body relaxes. Relaxation leads to sleep. Sleep conserves calories. There's also a breathing technique. Slow, deep breaths through your nose. Your nasal passages warm the air before it hits your lungs. Mouth breathing brings cold air directly into your core. Over 8 hours, over 100 nights, it adds up. Some sleep in 4-hour shifts during the worst storms. Prevents dangerous deep sleep where you don't notice your body temperature dropping too low. Here's what surprised me most. Rest isn't weakness. Sometimes doing nothing is actually the smartest move you can make. The Community Intelligence Network. Forget everything you think you know about homeless people being isolated loners. During blizzard season, information sharing becomes a survival network that would impress any emergency management professional. There's a guy in Chicago called Weather Mike. He doesn't watch the news, most days he can't, but he feels the weather. Barometric pressure changes, wind patterns, cloud formations. Mike calls a blizzard 48 hours before meteorologists confirm it. When Mike says it's coming, people listen. He's been right for 7 years straight. These networks run on trust and reciprocity. Someone finds an unlocked loading dock. That information spreads to exactly 15 people. No more. Spread it too wide, and security shuts it down. Too narrow, and you're not building social capital you'll need later. Church donation schedules get tracked like stock portfolios. Every Tuesday, St. Mark's hands out blankets at 4 p.m. Miss these windows, and you miss critical gear. Then there's the gear swap economy. Your minus 10 degrees sleeping bag for someone's minus 20 degrees bag that's too big for them. Maybe throw in hand warmers to even the deal. No money changes hands, just survival mathematics. Text message chains have revolutionized street survival. A $30 prepaid smartphone might be the best $30 anyone experiencing homelessness can spend. Warnings about police sweeps, updates on which shelters have actual bed space, real-time temperature alerts. I watched this in Boston during a cold snap. Someone spotted police heading toward a camp. Text went out at 11:47 p.m. By 12:15 a.m., 4 people had relocated to backup spots. No confrontation, no confiscated gear, no deadly exposure. The older generation teaches the newer one through demonstration. Here's how you seal tent seams. This is where to find dry cardboard. That shelter will let you stay if you've been drinking. This one won't. And the buddy system saves lives. Check-in protocols where tent mates confirm each other as responsive every few hours. Tommy in Minneapolis found a guy named Steve unconscious from hypothermia at 2:30 a.m. Steve hadn't responded to the 2 a.m. check. Tommy got him to an ER. Steve's alive because someone checked on him. That's not luck. That's system design. You know what this proves? No one survives alone. Community and shared knowledge multiply everyone's chances. The mental game. Your mind quits before your body does. Every single time. I've seen people with perfect gear make fatal decisions because they couldn't handle the psychological pressure. Boredom sounds trivial until you're on hour 47 of a 72-hour blizzard lockdown. You can't go outside. You can't do anything except exist. That's when your brain starts manufacturing problems, inventing reasons why you need to leave. The storm's not that bad anymore. Yes, it is. I should check on my friend 3 blocks over. No, you shouldn't. These thoughts kill people, not the cold, the thoughts. Smart survivors prepare mental survival kits, books, even damaged ones, crossword puzzles. One woman named Patricia had memorized 50 poems. She'd recite them during storms. I'm not doing it for entertainment. I'm doing it for mental structure, something to focus on besides the cold and the fear. Then she paused, and wondering if I'm going to die tonight. Religious faith carries some people. Prayer routines, meditation, these create frameworks that prevent panic. Others use anger as fuel. I'm going to survive this to prove everyone wrong. Spite as a survival mechanism. Whatever works. The dangerous state is defeated acceptance. I'm probably going to die anyway, so why bother? That thought kills people. Once you believe survival is impossible, you stop doing the small things that ensure survival. Ramon in Denver told me, the second you think you're dead, you are. So I never think that, ever. I'm always thinking about tomorrow, next week, next year. Routine maintains that discipline. Same wake-up time, same meal schedule, same check-ins. Routine creates predictability. Predictability reduces anxiety. Lower anxiety means better decisions. Better decisions keep you alive. What became clear to me is this. Mental preparation is just as critical as physical preparation. Your mindset literally determines whether you live or die. The aftermath. Surviving one blizzard is an accomplishment. Surviving multiple winters, The damage accumulates in ways most people don't understand. Frostbite scars tissue permanently. Nerve endings that freeze and thaw repeatedly just stop working. I met a man named David in Boston who can't feel 3 fingers on his left hand. Not numb, completely absent sensation. They work. I can move them. I just can't feel them. Haven't felt them in 4 years. But I survived, so I don't complain. Respiratory damage from breathing frozen air for months. Your lungs weren't designed for continuous -20 degrees air. Chronic bronchitis becomes the norm. Some develop permanent asthma. A nurse told me, a 35-year-old has the lung capacity of a 55-year-old smoker. The psychological toll is just as real. PTSD doesn't just come from war zones. It comes from 90 nights convinced you might not see morning. Hypervigilance about weather, panic attacks when it snows. Sarah in Boston has been housed for 2 years. Has her own apartment, heat, safety. But every time it snows, she wakes up at 2 a.m. checking her heat. It never goes away. That fear is permanent now. But here's what people miss: the pride. Surviving conditions that would kill most people creates profound confidence, not arrogance. Confidence. Tommy in Minneapolis. I survived 5 winters in a tent, lost a toe, lost some teeth, but I'm here. So when life throws regular problems at me, job interview, bureaucracy, that's nothing. I survived worse every single night for 5 years. Hard-won strength that nobody can take away. This is the reality nobody talks about. Survival always comes with a price, but it also builds strength that can never be broken. Closing. The tents you see on street corners during winter aren't signs of failure. They're evidence of adaptation, of humans doing what we do best, figuring out how to survive in conditions we weren't built for. These aren't victims waiting for rescue. They're active survivors, making calculated decisions with limited resources. Some of those decisions would impress wilderness survival experts. Others might save your life someday, if you ever find yourself in a similar situation. The cold doesn't care about your circumstances. It doesn't care if you're homeless or housed. It'll kill you the same way. The only difference is knowledge. And hopefully, now you have some of that knowledge too. But more than that, I hope this changes how you see those tents. There's genius happening inside them. Community, strategy, resilience, and strength most of us will never have to develop. If this video taught you something, or changed how you see homelessness even a little bit, hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to see it. Leave a comment telling me what surprised you most, or share your own experience if you have one. And if you want to help, find local mutual aid groups. Find people doing direct outreach with tents and sleeping bags and hand warmers. That's where your money will actually save lives this winter. We've got more videos coming about survival, about homelessness, about the systems that fail people and the ways people survive despite those failures. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss them. To everyone watching from inside a tent right now, I see you. Your strategies are brilliant. Your resilience is remarkable. And you deserve so much better. Stay warm out there, everyone. Take care of each other. This is the Shelter Project. Thanks for watching.